Hi, I'm Mona, and if you're here, you found Kaleidoscope Dreams Tarot. Today I have 3 piles for the healing energy sessions. Um, Pick a pile readings, right? I have pile 1, pile 2, and pile 3. Now, today's a question that's a super important question, all right? I pretty much woke up with this question. It was kind of like an epiphany, right? Don't you guys love when those come in? I love those. Anyhow, the question that we have is, how can I let go of toxic misconceptions? All right, this is a biggie, you guys. All right, now this is going to actually be one of many questions that I'm going to bring out. The title will be the same, How Can I Let Go of Toxic Misconceptions? But I'm going to number them 1, 2, 3, and so on, right? Because there are so many misconceptions in this world that have led us to believe certain ways, okay? Now, I'm going to talk about misconceptions from my experience, right? You may have your own misconceptions that you have had epiphanies over. And I would absolutely love if you can comment that in the comment section, because what we're doing here is we're trying to help people, right? We're not trying to hinder people, all right? Sharing these videos actually helps people to realize something for themselves. And if we hide these videos or we don't share them, how's anybody going to know, right? The whole concept of these videos, sure, I'm reading tarot cards, but the whole concept is to get to the end of the readings and to try to understand why we're in these situations, why we put ourselves in these situations, why we think the way we do. Okay? So these videos are pretty much being put out to help you think. Think for yourself, right? Because a lot of us don't do that. We tend to go to others to ask for opinions, or maybe things that we do know is something that's learned, right? Anyways, I would please like you to subscribe, like, comment, and share these videos. Especially comment, because I'm curious to hear about your toxic misconception, because I don't know everything, and I'd like to know, some extra things myself, right? Nothing is absolute. No one has all the answers. But you can find the answers to your own issues and your own questions within. And if you could share that, that would be just absolutely fantastic, because you don't realize how many others you might be helping in the process. So to my subscribers, welcome back to the channel. I'm glad you're here to join us today. And to any new subscribers, wow, welcome to the channel. And I'm hoping that we can shed some light on some situations in your own life situations that you can come up with your own conclusions and find your own answers. All right? So the question again, how can I let go of toxic misconceptions? I'm going to go ahead and start with pile number 1. If you need more time to choose, go ahead and pause the video. You can do that. You can listen to all the piles. It doesn't matter. If something doesn't resonate, it doesn't resonate. Don't make it fit, okay? Please don't make it fit. You are in charge of your own destiny, okay? You can just basically skip to the end if that's what you want, all right? So that's enough said for right now. I'm going to go ahead and start with pile number 1. Okay, so this is pile number 1. For those of you who might have chosen pile 1, let's go ahead and find out, how can I let go of toxic misconceptions? Okay, we have a spider. And the spider represents creativity and balance. So perhaps you're trying to balance yourself out in a creative way, right? Possibly ways that are beneficial for yourself and for others. Okay? Let's go ahead and find out what's going on here in the cards. Now remember, if they don't resonate, they don't resonate. Don't make them fit. Okay, please just move on to the end. Okay, if it sounds absolutely ridiculous to you, don't even listen to the whole thing and just skip over, you know. Unless you're entertained by it and you like to listen to it, then you can, but otherwise, you know. All right, so the first card we have out, we have the Six of Pentacles. Excuse me, let me get a quick drink here. Sorry to keep y'all waiting. All right, so we have the Six of Pentacles, we have the Five of Cups, we have the Seven of Pentacles, we have the Page of Pentacles, we have the Page of Swords, we have the Judgment card, we have the Two of Pentacles, we have the Seven of Pentacles, the Two of Cups, Page of Peppermills, Six of Peppermills, and the Seven of Flamingos. All right, so let's see what we have here first. We have, we have one major arcana. All right, and that's the Judgment card. So somebody is placing judgment on you, or you are judging someone else. Wow, having problems speaking. Maybe if you're watching this video, you might be a person who has difficulties with communication. Okay, it doesn't have to be, but hey, you never know. All right, so we have the Six of Pentacles here, and the Six of Pentacles represents something of, you know, giving to two or having equal give and take between two, sharing responsibilities, you know, sharing jobs, whatever it is, but it's between two, right? And because of this Six of Pentacles, somebody is definitely crying over a loss. Perhaps you're crying over a loss because you've realized that you are giving too much to this. And you might have decided, you know, to let this go, whatever it is. And you're very disappointed at your actions, your own actions, because you pretty much can't believe that you let whatever happened go so long in your life, right? So you might be mourning over a situation. And, you know, the Five of Cups here, you know, it's a card of mourning, but it's also a card of realizing that it's not the end of the world, because you do have two cups standing behind you that you're not looking at. Two cups that will allow you to forget those cups that have fallen and allow you to move forward in your life and use those cups that have fallen as a memory or a lesson. Okay. We do have the Seven of Pentacles here. And I've shown this card before. If you look at the person on this card, he kind of looks like he's watching his seeds grow, but look at his face. He's got a kind of angry look on his face. Perhaps somebody has planted some seeds of intention and is trying their hardest to nurture these seeds and watch them grow, but they're kind of getting mad because those seeds maybe are not growing anymore. Maybe his intentions to have those seeds grow were not right, and those seeds are just not going to grow for this person. We also have the Page of Pentacles, and this is premature, you know, information, and it has to do with finances. All right? Perhaps you're a person that doesn't believe that you can, you know, grow any further than this Page of Pentacles stage in your life. Like you're always going to be stuck in this, you know, Page of Pentacles mentality that this is all you can do, right? And possibly you are watching somebody and you're watching them grow. You may be watching them grow and all of a sudden a light goes off in your head and you're like, wow, I had this person pegged all wrong possibly. Maybe you're placing judgment on yourself and others because you were, misconceived over a situation, and now you're watching this person or these people or this group grow without you because you basically might have turned your back on them. Okay, we do have this Two of Pentacles, and I'm thinking that the Six of Pentacles is here when it happens to be equal give and take, giving to two, whatever the situation is that is split into two separate categories. That's definitely not, in this situation, I don't think it's equal, right? It seems that you're crying over a situation because there was juggling in that situation, right? And you were not trying to see the truth. You were trying to avoid the truth. You knew there was juggling going on, yet you didn't want to see it. Once again, we have the Seven of Pentacles twice. You may have definitely tried your hardest to keep whatever this is going as long as you could. Why? Because you actually gave this person your emotions. You gave them your love. And you were trying to hold on to that love as hard or strong as you could. Right? We have the Page of Peppermills. And this is a new beginning, a new passionate beginning, because maybe something, threw on that light bulb, like that Judgment card. Maybe you do realize, and you're realizing this passionately, that you don't have to be in the Page of Pentacles mentality. Maybe you're passionate now about moving forward because maybe somebody told you you're never going to amount to anything. You're never going to have anything in life. But maybe you've had your own epiphany and you thought, you know what? That's a lie. It's not true. I can move forward passionately and I can have all the pentacles and the happiness I want. Okay? So you might have been watching someone and you're watching them have victory in their life, right? But you have also seen that they have had victory in life, but it hasn't been without deception and heartache and pain. You see what I'm saying? You judge this person as they've probably been handed everything so easily in their life, but you judge them wrong. Because in order for a person to actually learn from their mistakes and to move forward from it and to, succeed, a person has to fall. They have to experience defeat several times in their life in order to, have success and understanding about things. Nothing is free. Nothing is free. Either you're paying from your pocket, you're paying with your heart, you're paying with your mind, or you're paying with, whatever. Whatever you go through in life, it's a payment to the universe. And that's what those lessons are. The lessons are being put in front of you. And if you learn from those lessons, you'll realize that those lessons were put there and the price you had to pay to understand them is a price that everybody should be willing to pay. Because without these lessons, there's no learning. Okay? So if this sounds like your situation or something close to it, then I'll see you guys at the end. Okay? I'm going to go ahead and move on to pile number 2. Okay, so here is for pile number 2. And the question was, how can I let go of toxic misconceptions? All right, let's find out. Now remember, as I've said before, if the pile doesn't resonate and it doesn't fit, don't make it fit. You don't even have to watch the whole thing. You can just move right to the end, okay? Unless you like to watch these and get a kick out of them. That's on you, but please don't make them fit if they sound like your story. You are in charge of your own destiny. So, all right. So we have the horse. And the horse represents inner power and freedom. So you yourself might be coming up with your own epiphanies, realizing things about your own life, and the power you have over your own mind. And you're setting yourself free, or wanting to set yourself free from all of these toxic misconceptions, right? How can I let go of toxic misconceptions? Well, let's go ahead and see what these cards say. See what's going on here. We have the Page of Pentacles. We have the Three of Swords. We have the Ace of Cups, the Ace of Wands, the Eight of Cups, Strength, the Queen of Pentacles, the the Six of Swords, the Devil, the Three of Cups, the Fool, and the Chariot. All right. So let's see what we got going on here. We have 1, 2, 3, 4 major arcanas. Okay. You're needing to be strong for some reason. Okay. You're needing to be strong and, perhaps release some sort of toxic situation. Because you're wanting to have a new beginning, right? But you seem to be held back about something from the past. And all you want to do is get on that chariot and move forward. Well, let's find out what's going on here. We'll start from the beginning here. We have the Page of Pentacles here. And you may be trying to start something new when it comes to your finances, starting out new and fresh. You have an idea, somebody gave you a message of some sort, or, something premature came in, and maybe you're trying to actually put it in action, right? But it seems that we have the Three of Swords here. And that in itself is toxic. If you're in a three-party situation, a love triangle, maybe you're in a marriage and there's family or relatives interfering in your relationship, this can become very toxic. We do have the Ace of Cups, and you're wanting to move forward in a new, emotionally fulfilled new start, right? Because maybe you have been in toxic situations and you're tired of them and you want freedom from this. We have this Ace of Wands here. You're wanting to start a new passionate beginning. You're wanting all kinds of new beginnings here. But basically what you're wanting most of all is emotions and passion. You want that back in your life, and you want to start fresh with that. And those are 2 good ways to start out things, definitely. Okay? As long as you're not dragging the Three of Swords energy with you. Right? So we have this Eight of Cups here, and it looks like you're wanting to walk away from a certain situation, and it might be that Three of Swords energy. You're trying to have the strength to do it. You may be one of those people who just is a yes person, or somebody who just wants everybody to be happy. But what you need to understand is in order for you to find happiness, you're going to have to let some people go. You can't bring everyone with you on your journey to happiness, because not everybody out there wants you happy, and not everybody out there is willing to find happiness themselves. So you're going to have to let some people go, right? This could be past relations. You could be even be carrying generational toxicity, because it has been carried down from generation to generation in your own family, and it's led up to you finally. And you're like, you know what? I'm not going to do this. I'm not going to I'm not going to live my life like my past ancestors have in, this lack mentality, whatever it is, love, finances, emotions, friendships. You're wanting a new start, and you're wanting a new healthy start. It seems like you might be dealing with somebody who's holding the energy of the Queen of Pentacles. And this Queen of Pentacles, she's a wife. She's a mother. She's a friend. But the Queen of Pentacles here is definitely financially stable. This person could actually be part of this Three of Swords energy. This person can be interfering in all of your relationships. This person can be a person you're in a relationship with and interfering, and others might be interfering with that relationship. But it seems that this person in your life may be kind of toxic, and you're wanting to move away from this person because you've come to realize that you understand why things have been happening the way they have been in your life, and it might be because of the interference of this Queen of Pentacles. This Queen of Pentacles may have been very toxic, may have introduced you to toxic habits, could have introduced you to your self-worth, could have introduced you to drug use, bad habits, bad self-image, just bad things all around. And perhaps you've realized that you need to move away from this person in order to find, happiness. And I'm thinking that if you do move away from this person, that you will, because we do have the Celebration card. And it is definitely under the Ace of Wands, new passions, celebration for new passions in your life. And this Devil card is right under the Ace of Cups. So this person may be preying on your emotions. Perhaps this person knows that you're very emotional, and she can get under your skin by preying on your emotional your psyche. And that's terrible, and I'm sorry if that's happening to you, but just know that you can break free from this, and you don't have to take it anymore. Okay? You do have the opportunity to have that new start, that new beginning in your life, but you have to walk away from all these toxic people in your life, or this person. Because you do have the strength to move forward and take that chariot ride into a more fulfilling and healthy, happy future. All right? So if this sounds like your story, then I'll go ahead and see you at the end, and then we can see what we can do, what we can talk about in regards to this, and what messages that we'll get from the universe and from Buddha, and we'll go from there. I'll see you guys at the end. I'm going to pile number 3. Okay, so here's pile number 3. And the question is, how can I let go of toxic misconceptions? Well, let's find out. Now remember, if these piles don't resonate, don't make them resonate. Okay, if you want to watch it through and it doesn't match up, that's cool. Maybe you're entertained by it. But don't make it fit if it does, because you are in charge of your own destiny, okay? So whatever happens in your life is what you make of it, not what these cards say, okay? So let's go ahead and get started. How can I let go of toxic misconceptions? Okay, so we have the fox. And the fox represents cleverness and adaptability, right? You may be a very clever person and able to adapt to almost any situation, right? And maybe you've been trained to do that because you might have been in so many different situations that you've basically learned how to adapt in all these situations for survival technique, right? So let's go ahead and see what we have here. We have the Magician, we have the Two of Swords, We have the Knight of Rods, the Five of Pentacles, the Six of Cups, the Knight of Swords, the Queen of Swords, the Ace of Swords, Four of Pentacles, the Emperor, Three of Wands, okay, and the Ten of Wands, or pepper mills. So we have 1, 2 major arcanas. So whatever is going on for you, pile number 3, you are trying to manifest something that involves another person, an emperor. And the emperor, it has the qualities of all the kings, right? Emotional, stable, grounded, passionate, and intelligent, right? So this actually might be you, okay? And you know, like I've said before in these readings that the female and male energies can be interchangeable, or we all carry male and female energies. So if you are the emperor and you're a female watching this, you could be, you could be experiencing your male side. Okay, so let's just keep that in mind. Okay, don't freak out. So we have the magician here, and the magician has all the tools to manifest everything they need in their life. They have the elements of earth, air, water, and fire, and ethers, which is energy, right? Now, you may be holding these qualities, but even though you're trying to manifest something, you're having to make a choice. And it seems like the choice is very difficult because you've just received a message. You received a passionate message from somebody. This may have been somebody who put you out in the cold, who turned their back on you. And there could be several reasons why this has happened. Perhaps it was because you were giving to two. Perhaps you gave all your attention to another person and not this person, so they decided to let you go. Right? But now you're wanting to come into that person with a message of truth. The truth might be harsh, it might be direct, but it's the truth nonetheless. You may be trying to manifest a Queen of Swords. And the Queen of Swords, she's a mother, a wife, a mate. She doesn't have to be married, but she could have experienced all these things, right? But the Queen of Swords is also extremely intelligent. She's always willing to listen to you. She's always willing to listen to anybody. But just know, this Queen of Swords right here, because all the pictures of the Queen of Swords are different. She has definitely been through a lot. She's been through a lot of mental torture. She guards her heart. Look at her crown. It's a crown of thorns, spikes, like from a rose, right? And that rose is definitely guarding her heart because it's been broken many times. This Queen of Swords is willing to listen to see what you have to say. She is very sharp with her words, or can be. But just know that if you don't come in correctly to her, she will cut you out of her life for good. You may have sharp things or a sharp message to relay. It doesn't necessarily mean that she's going to turn her back on you. Because if she is that intelligent, she will realize that whatever you've been through is not always necessarily your specific fault, because of the fact of toxic misconceptions, right? We do have this Ace of Swords here, and it looks like you are going to try to come in and start something new with this Queen of Swords, but you want to start with the truth. You do understand that there will be some sort of battle here, a battle of wits, as signified by the red rose and the white rose, like the story of the Battle of the Roses. If you're not sure about that, you can Google that and enlighten yourself on that. You are definitely hanging on to this person, and you are hanging on tightly. You could be hanging on to your finances. Maybe you don't trust this person. Maybe you're worried they're going to take your money. Or you're hanging on to the memory of this person who has actually brought passion into your own life. And you're now realizing that. So the choice you're trying to make is how you're going to come forward to this person. It's not a choice between two people. Right now it's a choice between how or what kind of tact you're going to use on your approach. You may now be holding the energies of the Emperor because you have definitely been put through the ringer yourself. Okay? And a person can only reach this Emperor status by pain and suffering and understanding. And you do see this Queen of Swords as a very sharp, intelligent person, but you definitely don't know what she's been through either. So you are seeing her as the Queen of Swords. We do have the Three of Peppermills here, and you are waiting for your ships to come in because all of this mental anguish that you're going through, all these ideas in your head that you have about what has happened in the past and what is happening to you currently, is just a big, big burden on you. And you just want to, find a clever way in order to come forward because you feel that you can adapt to a new situation in your life. You just have not put your foot forward yet. Okay, you got to take that first step. You really do. You never take that first step, you never move forward. So if this sounds like your story, and I don't know, it doesn't have to, but if it does, then I'll definitely see you at the end, because that's the last pile, and we will go ahead and find out what kind of information or advice we can get from the universe. Okay, I'll see you guys there. Okay, so we made it here to the end. And of course, I will repeat the question, how can I let go of toxic misconceptions? So I do have the Surrender cards and the Buddha Wisdom Shakti Power cards. Now, I did say in the beginning that I'm going to be going over this question several times because there's so many misconceptions out there. So I'm only going to talk about maybe 3 at a time because I kind of don't want these videos to go, too long. So that's why I've decided to split this question up into several segments. Okay, they're not going to be consecutive. Okay, I will have other questions in between the healing energy session questions, but because it takes me time to figure out misconceptions myself. Okay, I already have 3 question segments that I've figured out, but it's only 3, and I want to keep them as brief as possible and as basic as possible so I can help you to understand this and to help you, possibly lead you to finding your own answers to your own questions, right? Because like I said, we're all different. We all have different experiences. Nobody's experience is exactly the same. Maybe a little bit, but not exactly. So let's go ahead and find out what kind of news we get from the universe and from Buddha, and see what kind of advice we get there first. Okay. So of course these cards have been pre-shuffled. We're going to find out what we need to surrender to help us to let go of toxic misconceptions. What must we surrender? Okay. All right. Okay, so I'm actually feeling something over here. Well, if I can get one up. Okay. Now from Buddha, what kind of wisdom Buddha has for us. Already pre-shuffle, but of course I'm shuffling one more time. Buddha, what kind of wisdom do you have for the viewer on how they can let go of toxic misconceptions? Okay. All right, let's get started here. Surrender to inner peace. Okay. So you might be a person who tends to be in their mind a lot. Maybe your mind is full of all kinds of clutter, all kinds of words and information coming at you. But you know, you do have to find that inner peace within you. You got to try and clear out your mind of all that mindless chatter, maybe chatter that things that have happened to you, or things that people are telling you. Somebody can tell you one thing and your mind can just go on a tangent and think of every possible situation or every terrible thing that has gone on or that can happen. And what you're actually doing is you're manifesting these things in your mind and making them stick there. All these negative thoughts. And only from one comment that a person can make to you can lead you to absolute personal destruction. So the universe is asking you to surrender to inner peace. Try and clear your mind. You can do this with mindful meditations. You can go out into nature, smell the fresh air. You can look at the animals run by, okay? Just try not to focus on whatever people are telling you, because the answer to whatever you have is definitely inside you. All right? And what does it say? Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis in quiet, meditative moments. I've never got this card before, and look at meditative moments. Just what I said. Focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. So another thing that I'm getting from this is when you are in your head about something that someone's told you, and then all these negative thoughts start to come in, these thoughts that you yourself are putting there, they could be negative thoughts, right? And what you're basically doing is you're putting out that energy to others. You might be even attracting people involved in that type of energy, right? And this is where you may have, you know, uncomfortable situations, bad relationships, you know, because you are drawing in people who have the same negative mentality as yourself. And that's the energy you're putting out. That's the energy you're going to bring in. Okay? If you're putting out positive energy, happiness and joy, and you know, inner peace, you're going to attract to yourself these type of people, right? People who try to send off positive energy to you. And those are the type of people that we want in our lives. Not to discount all these negative people, because you have to understand that these people have been also been introduced to toxic misconceptions. And not that you can change anyone, because you can't. A person has to want to change themselves. And they also have to find their own answers, because like I said, everybody's situation is different. Everybody's been through a different situation. Maybe it might be slightly similar, but it's never exactly the same, right? So you got to try to, if you can, surrender to inner peace. And you can do this with mindful meditations, you know, clearing your mind of all that clutter. You got to give your mind a rest sometimes. Okay? Let's find out what Buddha says. Okay. I don't think that I've received this card yet. This is the number 22 card, and this is the master number card. Okay? Master number 22. Right? Definitely something from the universe. Vajrapani Hayagriva, guardian of the temple gate. Use your strengths to help someone who is struggling. So somebody may be struggling in your life. Somebody may come to you for help. You can listen to them, right? You can give them a moment of your time. I mean, if you're at work or something and somebody comes to you with a problem, you say, hey, I'm working right now. Can you please, contact me after, or let me contact you after if that's okay? And then you can get to them then. Make sure you let them know that you're not turning away from them. If you're working, don't say, I can't right now, and hang up. Tell them why. Because somebody's coming to you, and if you say, I can't right now, they're going to probably feel the way they feel from other people. Other people may have said this, turned them away, and never returned. Let them know why first, because you might put them in their head and have them with all that mindless chatter, right? Let them know that you'll be back, and that you'll get to them. You just can't right now because you're working or doing something or in the middle of something, right? Just want to put that part out there. Knowledge is power. I understand that you feel that you can get energy from the earth or from other people, whatever, right? But you must always do your own research. Don't find your answer from one person. You have to go to many. Put all of them together and come up with one good answer for yourself. Nobody's experience is the same. But you can gather information from everybody's experience, and you can pull out one good answer for yourself. Let's go ahead and read what this book has to say about that. Yeah, something you might have been through and you now understand might help another person, and this is why it's saying use your strength to help someone who is struggling, okay? And that could also mean that somebody may be coming into your life very soon and asking you for help. So always consider helping everyone you can with their situations, especially if you have been in that situation and you can provide some kind of insight of your own, okay? So we have Vajrapani, Hayagriva, guardian at the temple gate. The Bodhisattva Vajrapani is often painted in tankas next to Buddhas with I know I'm mangling all these words, sorry you guys, but Avalokitesvara on the opposite side, sort of the, oh my gosh. Okay, let me start over. The Bodhisattva Vajrapani is often painted a tanka next to the Buddha with Avalokitesvara on the opposite side, sort of like the bouncers for Buddhism. When you visit a temple, you will meet him. He is often placed at the entrance to ward off anyone who might come to harm the teachings of spiritual community, Sangha, or the temple. He is strong and unwavering, and so his body appears to us as massive and heavy, a symbol of strength. He is a protector of the teachings and removes obstacles to them. He stands in the Indian warrior yoga pose, ready to spring into action at a moment's notice. He also holds an implement called Vajra, symbol of the energy channels of the body. While his other hand is raised in the threatening gesture, he represents the power of all Buddhas. When the horse's head projects out of Vajrapani's head, he becomes the deity, Hayagriva, a Yidam, or personal protector deity. They are like mirrors to our true self, and interestingly, they are all fierce with the intent to grow. It is their core purpose and our core purpose in this world. As a practitioner matures, they begin to visualize their yidams and identify with them. Through this work, they see their personality traits, their profession, chemistry, and personality as just so much flotsam in the water, and don't take it all so to heart. They become humble when they realize they are not really who they used to think they were, and they are then freed from the prison of their human experience. Fearlessness arises, and they are able to truly serve others as their humanness drops off like an old coat discarded with the coming of spring. So basically what this is saying is, whatever experiences you have experienced in your life, these are all lessons. Lessons that you come to the realization within yourself that some of these lessons are actually toxic misinterpretations of life, right? So we go through all these terrible moments in our life. We might even go through happy moments of our life. But what do we mostly focus on? We mostly focus on the most terrible things, putting behind us all the fantastic, wonderful things that we've experienced. Because it's all these toxic and terrible things that tend to stick with us and cause us trauma. And this trauma makes us believe, who we are and what we are. And if we do realize that whatever those things are not actually in charge of us, we can free ourselves from these toxic misconceptions. We will find a lot of inner peace within ourselves. And once we do, we try to spread that to others, and hopefully they can find their own answers and finding their own inner peace. Right? These two cards are very fitting for each other. Now, I did want to bring up 3 examples of this in case we're not understanding something, because we all have our own different misconceptions and all different situations. So the first example I want to give you, okay, very simple. I'm going to talk about Popeye the Sailor Man. All right? Remember that cartoon when Popeye was always treated poorly by Brutus? He's always seeming to have to save olive oil from Brutus and this, that, and the other. And, that's what Brutus is. He's a brute, right? Always wanting to fight or beat up Popeye, right? So we go through the whole scenario of him kidnapping olive oil, and, Popeye hears olive oil yelling, "Popeye, Popeye," right? Well, Popeye eats his can of spinach. That seemed to be his inner strength. And then he would go and he would beat up Brutus and save olive oil, and the day is happy, right? Well, I would like to say to you, there is definitely a misconception there. Now, growing up as a child, you would always think like, okay, I need someone like Popeye to save me, to beat up all these bad people and save me, right? Well, as you can see, Brutus is the brute, and he wants to beat up Popeye. Yet Popeye turns around and beats up Brutus to try to save olive oil. And that right there is telling us that it's okay to beat up people when it's really not. How do you figure that beating up a person because they beat you up is going to solve any problems? It just makes you a brute yourself. All right, that's one example for you to think about. Here's the next example. The next example is going to jail. A lot of people who go to jail, they end up there, of course, because they've done something bad. But you know what? No child is ever born saying, I'm going to be bad and I want to go to jail. Pretty much most of these people who go to jail is because of a learned action. Somebody taught them how to steal, how to lie, how to cheat, how to hurt. They've experienced these experiences on their own. Now, what you're actually doing when you put somebody in jail, I think, my personal opinion, doesn't have to be yours, is you're allowing that person the opportunity to think about what they've done, yes. And some people come out and they change their life, right? But people who are repetitive offenders don't seem to be learning their lesson. And what you're actually doing to them is teaching them how to be a better criminal. Because you're giving them more time to think about the human psyche. You're giving them the opportunity to think, how can I not get caught next time? How can I hurt somebody and be successful at it? You understand? Because you yourself cannot do anything wrong and have a lot of issues in your life, but once you go within and you spend time alone and you think about things and you wonder about life and you do your research, you figure things out. Isn't that what you're doing to these people who are being put into jail? You're allowing them that time to study human, life. You're teaching them how to, basically, you're teaching them how to be in survival mode at all times, number one. And number two, you're giving them the opportunity to think how they can be more deceptive, how they can hurt people better, right? I used to think that if somebody went to jail, okay, serves you right. But what you're actually doing is you're actually helping them how to be a better criminal. They're either going to come out a better criminal and hurt more people, except they're going to do it better because they've given it thought, or they're going to actually turn around and change their life because they realize that that's not what they want anymore and they don't want to hurt anybody. They're going to come out one of two ways, right? So that's example number 2. I just saw 5222. You might want to look that up. That might mean something. Okay, and the next subject is relations, friendships. How you interact with others. Now, how you interact with others is how others have been interacting with you your whole life. If you've been in solitude most of your life and you haven't really had the opportunity to play with other kids, it's going to be difficult for you to have that interaction with other children. If your parents, grew up in, or if you grew up in an area where there's not too many kids around and all you have is your parents and you don't know where there's any other kids to play with, maybe you had a brother and a sister and all you guys had were each other. And, of course, where are you going to learn how to interact with others if you don't really have others to interact with? So you might become an introvert. You might like to be by yourself because you haven't really had that interaction with others. Now, if you grew up somewhere and that you've had a big old family and you got all these cousins and relatives and the neighbors' kids and all this, you have a good opportunity for that good social interaction, right? So you might be the way you are, or you might hang on to friendships really tightly because maybe in the past you haven't had very good relationships, and it's not your fault. It's just because you're not used to it, you never grew up that way, and it's really hard for you to get into the swing of things, But you got to try to put yourself out there if you can. And sure, you're going to slip up and find some bad friends, but hopefully you can realize that they're not good and you can move on and find another group of friends. It takes time to really find a really good friend. One that's going to, mesh with you. Somebody who's going to understand you because possibly they've been through the same things. Because you might be trying to hang on to people who are not actually very good for you. Because that's all that's around. But, that might be in your immediate environment, but it doesn't mean that's all that there's around. It just means that you're putting yourself and you're hanging around these people because that's all that you can see. And you're too afraid to move outside your circle because you're afraid of how people might judge you, possibly. You might look at yourself a certain way because somebody has taught you that that's what you are and that's what you will be. But that's not true. What you are and what you will be is what you make it, right? Somebody is obviously trying to control you. This is a control issue also. Somebody trying to have control over your life and over your future, making you believe that you just belong in this inner circle and that's it. That you don't deserve or you don't belong outside the circle. But we all belong everywhere. And that's up to us. We can put ourselves anywhere we want, at any time we want. We can interact with any kind of people, anytime, anywhere, any place, always. It's just whether or not you want to put yourself, in those situations. You might be nervous or scared because it's a change. It's a big change. And as I say that, number 5555 comes up, the number of change. Definitely a lot of you out there need to change things about yourself. We don't know what those things are. That's something that you're going to need to find out yourself. I just gave 3 examples today. But like I said, I will have other questions. There will be question 1, 2, 3, 4, and so on. And today the questions were about Popeye, about jail, and about relationships, friendships. Like I said before, no child is ever born saying, I'm going to be a criminal. I'm going to be successful. I'm going to fail. I'm going to suck at math. No child ever says that. Those are things that are learned. Everything that we learn throughout life, somebody's showed us. And you know what? It's not always our parents that do this. You can grow up in a wonderful environment, happy childhood, everybody happy, no abuse, none of that. And then you get into a relationship and boom, somebody breaks your heart. Your first trauma, right? You could be and come from a good, loving family, and then you're all of a sudden bullied at school because of being a happy kid. Trauma can come from anywhere. It's just how you're going to deal with that trauma, which defines you, yourself. Okay? I used to go around blaming this person and that person for the reason of me being this way, but it's not any individual. It comes from our surroundings. We are a product of our environment. And the only thing that we can do possibly is try to figure out why we think certain ways and why we do certain things. Who put us in this state? And then we can try to figure out, how can I get myself out of that? Because I know deep down inside, none of those bad things that have happened to me are true. Any of these things that anyone's told me. Because why? Because you create your own destiny. You create your life. You create the happiness in your life. So I'm going to go ahead and end it there. Watch this as many times as you want to make it sink in if you need. But always know that I'm not the ultimate answer to anything. I'm just here to get you started in your thinking process and try to figure out how you can come up with other answers from other people and their experiences that can help you get you through your own. You don't necessarily have to tell anybody your problem. You can just basically ask a question, how do you think, blah, blah, blah. You can also read books, look it up in books. Don't limit yourself to the knowledge that you can gain from the outside world. Don't keep yourself in solitude. All your answers can be found outside. Not specific answers, but you can combine them all to come up with one good answer for yourself. All right? So I'm sending out the energy of knowledge that you can find for yourself. My name is Mona. This is Kaleidoscope Dreams Tarot, and I'll definitely see you next time.